So, some are wondering, what am I doing today on September 27, 2021, Monday? Well, as of today, it was exactly 4 years since I took this truck home. My 2018 Ram 3500 single rear wheel with exactly 75,350 miles. Now, if you saw my video last year where I had this truck for 3 years, at that point I had 68,461 miles. That means that this yearly cycle I drove this truck 6,889 miles. Now, I always go by when I brought the vehicle home. In this case, it was September 27 for me, or at least for this truck. So that's what I consider the yearly cycle for this vehicle. So, yes, again, that's only 6,889 miles. That is probably the least amount I have driven any vehicle I have ever owned. So with that out of the way, and what I meant to clarify inside the truck was, that's the least amount I've driven any vehicle I've ever owned in 1 year, in one yearly cycle. I've yet to dig up and find out which I've driven the most, which I think was the Cobalt, where I drove it, I think almost 40,000 in 1 year. And second place was the Hyundai, my Sonata. What's been up with this truck after 4 years? I'm a little bit more negative about this truck, unlike last year. Some things have gone on. I'll get to them in a moment, but I'm also going to more importantly delve into why I'm still going to keep the truck. So the reason I'm going to keep this truck, the biggest one being, the truck's already paid for. I broke my butt to pay this thing off in 2.5 years. And especially in these times, as we are living the continuation of Obama's hope and change, the best truck, and not just truck, any vehicle in general, it's good just not to be in any debt at all, not to owe money or anything. The best vehicle you can have right now is the one that is yours, the one that is paid for. My other reasoning is, I look at the bigger picture of things. The truth of the matter is, and it's just the cold, hard, unfortunate truth, there is nobody to turn to. You go to Ford, they're having transmission problems. You go to Chevy, they're rusting the way the old Fords used to. Okay, Chevy knows how to build an automatic, and they're not still using solid front axles like a bunch of freaking idiots. But their motors are blowing up at 50,000 miles, or something down the road is going to go wrong where in as little as 4 years old, it's going to need $4,000 worth of work. The bottom line is, no matter who you turn to, these trucks are all having the quality issues that they, quite frankly, should not be having for what they are costing. And I'm, of course, talking from the perspective of a properly cared for truck. So back to what I was saying about the truck already being paid for. I'm glad I was able to contain myself and not trade this thing in at an impulse, especially for the aforementioned reasons that anyone else you go to really isn't any better for one reason or another. This all comes out of life experience too, the one upside of getting older. Now, not just a financial decision or a decision to purchase a vehicle, just life in general here I'm talking. There are unintended consequences to be had for making decisions out of anger and frustration. And especially when that applies to the cars, or at least for me in my personal life, was my 86 Oldsmobile conked out. This was after my '01 Saturn was a total disaster. Then the car before that didn't even last a month. I thought, oh, let me just go get a new car. I totally put aside the fact that the current job I was at the time, I wasn't even there a month, or barely there a month. And I'm like, okay, I had just a minimal amount of money to make a down payment. I was let go shortly after I bought the car, about a month after I bought the car. And I was, trying to pay for that car while I was, out of work. I was in debt with the car while I was out of work. And I was not going to risk being in that circumstance again. You know what? What I have is paid for. And again, we're reliving Obama's hope and change here. I am not committing to any kind of debt here. Pure and simple. This is what I got. It's already paid for. No one else is any better. And at least with this truck, there are solutions to the problems that plague these Rams. Like one of the things that went wrong this year, the truck was down for 2 months because the transmission went bad. Even though I always took care of the truck, took it for its driveline services when I was supposed to, actually sooner than I was supposed to. Nope, transmission still conked out. Well, the exchange of words between me and the dealer were not too great. In short, I'm like, WTF here. The whole idea behind paying what I paid to buy the truck new and then go on to spend the thousands of dollars I've been giving them to have them do the work that I'm more than capable of doing myself was to prevent that. Now, if I didn't have to wait 2 months, maybe that would have been okay. Dealer eventually got me a rental, and specifically a rental pickup truck. I mean, obviously they can't give me a 1-ton, but hey, it was something with an open end. So in the end, credit to my dealership, and this is why I've been dealing with them for 20 years. They made right and they did their part to help me make the best of my situation. So couldn't really complain there. So I'm thinking it's all over. Lately, when I switch directions, I hear like a snapping sound. They can't find what it is. Well, eventually they condemn the drive shaft. How the F a drive shaft goes bad, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Okay, my old 91 Suburban, the original Suburbanator, okay. Went through plenty of U-joints. Has original drive shaft for 20 years, so that's a big WTF. And kind of going back to why I'm going to keep the truck here, like those 2 months it was down, a lot of that had to do with the dealer just simply being understaffed. So it was the transmission went bad. I had to wait a good amount of time just before the transmission could be looked at and condemned. So can I really blame the truck here? And this is the other reason why I'm glad I stayed rational and I kept the truck. And I'm just going on with so many examples here. And who's not to say, especially parts being a back order, this is a problem with everybody right now. So again, I'm sorry to sound like a broken record. Sorry to beat on a dead horse here. I'm just going to keep what I have. But back to the drive shaft. At a quick glance, it looks like there's nothing wrong. And the service writer told me as much. They checked the differential. Backlash was within tolerances. The differential had fluid. Transmission had fluid. They believe that there were micro cracks in here. And that's what I'm hearing. And it kind of makes sense. I mean, let's just think about it for a moment, okay? You've got this nice big 6'4" Hemi, or 392 if you want to go old school and refer to the cubic inches. Moving this big 6,500 pound truck with the 410 gears. Mind you, being geared down with the 410 gears should make things a little bit easier on the whole powertrain. The only thing that's harder is the RPMs because it spins a little bit faster than, let's say, the 373 gears. Alright, so that's a lot of truck, a lot of power that drive shaft has to handle, right? So let's make it out of some nice, soft, recycled Chinese aluminum. What can possibly go wrong? And the real BS part of all this is I live by 3 places that makes drive shafts. They could probably could have made me one already. So with everything already mentioned here, and I'm also not talking about all the times in late 2020 I had to keep driving it back and forth to the shops. Now, you remember the whole bumper fiasco? Well, that too wasn't really the truck's fault, but of the little amount of mileage I'd driven it this yearly cycle, it would have been a lot less if I didn't have to keep driving it back and forth to the shops. At least the issues that this truck has can be fixed by the aftermarket to make it a better truck. And this leads to my other point. All these trucks, no matter who you go to, have in common. If you're looking to have it for many, many years, you're going to have to improve and pick up where the manufacturer left off. I don't know what the deal is for the other trucks, who has what solutions for the problems they're known for. But at least on this truck, for example, like when the transmission is ready to go, I don't know the name of the guy, but I know he owns a place called Precision Transmissions down in Amarillo, Texas. He is to the transmission world what Billy Hewitt in Buford, Georgia is to the power stroke world. People from all over the country are sending their trucks to this guy because they're tired of their trucks breaking down and have a similar issue that I have, that they don't want to have to buy a new truck. They'd rather just keep what they have, especially in these economic times. You're darn tootin', I'm going to send my truck to this guy if this transmission decides to go. Also, the front end on this truck. Another thing these Dodges are known for, which I have yet to make that its own video, But it's absolutely stupid how they do it. And I know in a previous video I said, if they're going to build it the way they're going to build it, have all that stuff turning all the time, weaken all these otherwise strong points, have all these points of failure, why not just have the independent setup already? But again, I'm going to make that its own video. There's plenty of solutions for that, and boy, is there a lot of solutions. Well, really only 3 I could think of, but, you know, you got Dynatrack, you got Yukon Gear and Axle, you got The Ram Man, his real name is Wayne Brown. He also has his own channel on the tube that I'll leave a link to. So, there are solutions, so at least there are solutions for the problems that these trucks will have. And again, I don't know what the deal is on the other trucks, so hopefully this explains why, despite some of the frustrations I might have had with this truck, you know, look, this is why I'm going to keep it. And when the time comes, I'll attack those problems accordingly, and then I will, in fact, have a better truck than what I had from the factory, and I will have picked up where FCA left off. That's all I really have. Yes, she's safe in her garage again. Hopefully it just stays there, and I can put much less miles on it this yearly cycle. I have every reason to believe I will. The next time this thing has to go out actually is when the drive shaft finally comes and the dealer can put it in. And maybe I'm going to bring some logs to my aunt's house towards the latter part of this fall. Otherwise, I'm just going to try to keep it safe in the garage and just try not to use it well, especially because of the price of gas and I got to use premium. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully it serves as a guide to anyone who might have had the similar frustrations that I might have been having, or that you might be having right now. I just hope things are better this time around, which I think they will, because I'm not going to forget all the good things this truck has done to me. This is a truck that stepped up to the plate for me when my Corolla screwed me. Then for 9 months went on to be a daily driver for me to the city. You don't really get a 1-ton truck to daily drive, but it did it. And it did it pretty damn well. Stayed nice and solid. All the more reason why I was so shocked, upset, and frustrated with the issues that this truck was giving me here. Hopefully you enjoyed this. As always, any old input is greatly appreciated. Don't be a stranger. Be safe out there, and have a great day.